Folks, if it feels like cannabis legalization isn't moving forward anymore, you're not imagining things, but something else is happening. Normalization. This week, the NRA and cannabis advocates are on the same side of a Supreme Court case. Hemp THC drinks are everywhere. Cities are running dispensaries, and states are quietly rewriting the rules. If you want all the stories, news, videos, and actionable alerts shaping this industry and legalization, scan the QR code and get our newsletter. This is Cannabis Legalization News.
So much
What's happening?
Hey.
Oh, yeah. It's been another month of cannabis legalization. Here we are, February 1st. You know what tomorrow is?
Second.
Groundhog's Day.
Oh, man.
And it has been cold. It has been gray. And it has lasted the rest of my life. This has been a hard cold snap. I got people in Florida, and they're complaining about how cold it is in Sarasota. Is it cold in Seattle?
Yeah, but like not cold enough. I mean, we should be having snow and shit this year, but you know, I fucking don't even know where I was gonna go with that. But what up, man?
It's already started. Is cannabis legalization news peace prize. But yeah, this is our main story of the week. The NRA is joining a cannabis group. I'm going to do another video. I've done videos about these before, and now that it's worked its way up to the Supreme Court, I should do another one because it was only in like the circuits, and now there was a split in the circuit. It's up to the Supreme Court. Normal filed a brief, and I'm on their legal committee, and so I got those emails over the weekend, and I'm like, oh, this is a nice amicus brief. Also sometimes called a micus brief. It's just basically a friend of the courts. That's what amicus, I think, means in Latin. Friend of the court. And so they file briefs in support of the person who's trying to get the law overturned. And it makes a lot of sense. It's the same rights that you'd have with your firearms if you're drunk as if you're high. And so like, there's a statute on there that says, like, you know, if you use drugs, you're not allowed to do it. But they don't say that, you know, alcohol counts. But then there's case holding that said alcohol counts. Very often you see Westerns. They aren't as popular as they were when we were children. But check your iron at the bar. And so, like, you're not allowed to bring and wear your guns to a bar while you're getting drunk.
Okay. I mean, being that you're the lawyer and all, first off, shout out to NRA actually stepping up, you know, not worrying about Russia's benefits. But, you know, how did this case come about? Like about this Second Amendment type bullshit?
There's been a lot of people have been prosecuted under this particular section of the law that says that it's illegal for marijuana or drug something or other. So, like, you know, because they have all these schedules of drugs. So like marijuana or drug users or drug abusers to possess a firearm. And is that a violation of your Second Amendment rights? And so there's a particular section, I can't remember the citation off the top of my head, and it's been challenged. It's been challenged successfully in the circuit courts, which comprise, and so there's district courts all over the United States, and then there's circuit courts. I believe there's 11 or 12 circuits in the United States. I'm in the 7th, you're in the 9th. And then after that, you have the Supreme Court. And so sometimes circuits, they split on their opinions. And right now there's a split of opinion on the Dormant Commerce Clause in the cannabis industry. And then there's a split of opinion as to your rights as a cannabis user to have a firearm. And so the theory is, and this has worked in district courts, and I think it's going to work in the Supreme Court, you can't ban a cannabis user from their Second Amendment right just because they use cannabis. Now, you can qualify that in the sense that it could be a Second Amendment it could be a regulation that makes sense. If they're smoking the joint right then they aren't allowed to use a firearm. So, you know, no joints and shooting your guns off, no joints at the shooting range. Similar as no beer at the shooting range. Now that's where the holdings kind of come from. They say, well, it's legal to have these time, place, and manner restrictions if you're drinking, and then it should make the same sense that time, place, and manner restrictions if you're smoking. But if you're otherwise just a lawful gun owner and you're sober, you should be able to defend yourself.
Sure.
And it's been working. And so now I hope this will be something that the Supreme Court gives marijuana users the right to bear arms.
Yeah. So like, because that's definitely something that stimmies in every state, right? The whole you're not allowed to have a license, a gun license.
Well, there's like federal prohibitions, and so like they
Mhm.
have a statute that they cite that I just can't recall off the top of my head, that they say you're violating the statute if you use cannabis and you own a gun.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, totally. It was like drug use, right? Like it's the same thing that the Hunter Biden bullshit, right? Or
Yeah,
you know,
similar, like a gun, a felon, a drug felon with a gun or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Just don't take it to a lawful protest, right? Don't take it to a peaceful protest.
Yeah, yeah. That was a funny Saturday Night Live opener last night with Pete Davidson as Tom Homan.
Well, I guess give me the
Good story. The NORML and NRA team up to argue in favor of your right to bear arms as a marijuana user.
And coming out of NORML too, we have this one on the opioids. Marijuana access associated with striking decline in daily opioid use by IV drug consumers. Here we go. I thought this was appropriate too, because at the same time, same day, Trump signed this addressing addiction through the Great American Recovery Initiative, right? Like,
yeah,
if they really cared about addiction, you know, going forward, rescheduling it would be a good.
This is where the studies are supposed to come in, the real studies, the ones that you aren't trying to look for, like how much brain cells does marijuana kill? Like, you know, you're looking for like what is the benefit, or are there any benefits? Objective research, and so like that was, but Pam Bondi missed that deadline. And now that 3 million more Epstein files have been released, we know our leader's icky, but also perhaps that's one more thing off her desk where she can reschedule marijuana, or get those new that new guidance for doing research into marijuana or other psychedelics that are in Schedule 1.
Right on. So yeah, hopefully it clears up her plate, right? Like, do something. Just for the love of God, just do something.
Anything. Just for the Jiminy Christmas, can you do anything?
Well, one of the things, dude, I give, like, again, the hemp bullshit, the high hemp thing, right? Everybody wants to be THCA, which it is. It's gonna be gone, right? It's like our next story here was the high and dry can't curious movement grows despite federal THC banning. I mean, people are realizing that cannabis is an option. And again, Chris 420 Blaze It is constantly making these videos about how like it is weed. Like, I'll give you that, buddy. It's all fucking weed now, but you have a deadline now, like 10 more months. You know, you gotta get rid of your inventory, because anything else, you know, they'll be coming after you. But I give him that credit.
They could already come after him. I mean, like, we've done stories about Lucas Soroy in Maine, and then and I've done you know, bits on Cannabis Legalization News YouTube channel about like the DEA does not consider what you call hemp. Like, they've been the same way since you know, they've never said Delta 8, any of these semi-synthetics. They've always said that that's marijuana or Schedule 1 substance, you know, tetrahydrocannabinols that are controlled. And then same with THCA flower. No, they will take it. They will use gas chromatography, which which heats it past the stage of decarboning the cannabis. And if you're more than 1%, which you are when you're THCA products, you are also marijuana. And so it's just been an enforcement gap. And once that door really closes, you know, they've been like killing people in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no.
You deal weed. Aren't you like less you know, don't you score worse on a Frank Luntz public opinion poll than a soccer mom or a nurse in Minnesota?
I think those the influencers, the people who've been selling the THCA, right? Like, yes, we all know it's weed now. At this point, everybody's accepting it. No one's arguing. Oh, you know, some of them are extracts. You know, I would argue your sourcing. I would argue quality, but like, in the end, that market is wrapping up, and it was never meant to be, right? People took this opportunity, which I hope you made your bag. Now it's almost done, but
stop spending your bag on what do they call those things? Lobbyists. Stop spending your bag on lobbyists. Just don't.
the fact is, we want to consume this plant like weed, right? Like we want to consume this plant as a recreational or adult use, however, or medicine, however you want to, your relationship is. But like in the end, and then this is like what hemp was supposed to be. That our next story was.
Our next story. Here's actual hempcrete. Hemp was not supposed to be weed. That was the whole point of hemp. Like we wanted shirts, we wanted industry, and we did want CBD products. We did not want THC products. Missed the bus on that one.
Well, I don't mind the THC products, but like you're lying to yourself when you think like people weren't going to come for you. The fun police weren't going to try and get the rules shaped, right? Like here in Washington State, when we had the pure capitalist medical market, and then we had adult use. Well, Custom Grow 420, one of the old school YouTubers, his video was used against us or against the record or the medical market in the lobbying restructuring for adult use. And they're like, look, this is not medical. And, you know, perception is a lot. So that's where I think a lot of these guys shot themselves in the dick when they're like, hey, it's weed, instead of just trying to sell it. You know, if they would have just sold it, you know, and be like, trust me, bro, you know, send it back if you don't like it or whatever. Because, and again, when I used to sell it, I was smoking my own shit and I knew it was either good or bad, but that was all I had. That was the only option I had for sourcing.
Right.
You know?
Like, now you could go and try to resell the stuff that you buy at the dispensary. You're not going to do it very well, maybe to children, because like people can just or like a small delivery fee. Like that's really the only value add you give. And so like you could in theory be DoorDash, but that's still illegal. Like that, if that person is of age, they should just go to the dispensary themselves. Now, if they want to like hire a DoorDash or somebody to run the errands for them, whatever, but you don't have like a lot of pricing power in that business model
or protection, right? Everything's about risk reward. So like, unless you have a legal way, like when it was medical here, I used to get weed on Craigslist. You know what I mean? Like I used to answer an ad and be like, okay, here's my script. They would come meet me in my hotel room. I would show, you know, like that's how it used to be. But then we have a legalization here in the state. The whole thing changed, right? And that's why I think rescheduling it and keeping it at least some sort of medicine that we identify and recognize this plan as is important. You know, everybody's like, oh, they're going to turn it into a pill.
Schedule. Oh yeah, but they we need legislation. We do. And so the rescheduling can only push it so far. And the first, like I might do another one on rescheduling. Why not? I can. I got time. Like the dispensary's not open, and even if it was, I got some new notes for our show. Once the dispensary's open and I'm like broadcasting from there, we'll do little bits. One of our stories each week will be how cannabis does something relevant to educational, so that we could then cut that up later throughout our the week and put on our Facebook page, because you know we're one of the largest YouTube channels in Central Illinois, but having that is going to be nice for, because like I see the guy, which is it, Travis from Minnesota. And so he's great. And so he does a lot. And then there was the Happy Monkey guys from New York. They did a lot. And then there's Elliot from Catalyst, does a lot. And so Elliot was supposed to be on the program today, doesn't have his YouTube studio quite ready to go. And so his people on Instagram just didn't quite get back to us after they said like, hey, can he come on? And so we'll get there, and then we'll be able to have educational marketing content. Wait, is it? You're supposed to just hit the button. Hang on, because I gotta do this stuff.
I gotta pack my bowl.
Oh man. You know what we needed? We need to just everybody chill out for a bit. Because it's always going to be 420 somewhere. You don't need to hyperventilate if you miss everything. It's one of the nice aspects of having time.
You got it.
It's one of those gong retreats.
There you go.
20 past the hour, somebody. See you in a minute. Woof.
What up, Bratty Egg? Appreciate you.
Appreciate all the members. The
Hell
members
yeah.
got questions, we got answers. If you're a member of the channel, you can throw some questions at us, or if you also have some questions, just throw us a super chat. Give us a couple of shekels or some dollar bills, and we'll ask and answer your questions. There's not that much going on right now. Oh, that's beautiful. How much was that?
Some
Sticky icky?
THCA, baby.
No, that is some of Washington's finest. Maybe explain Washington's finest. I want costs, all that good stuff.
That was an ounce. Just you walk in the store, get your ID check. Well, my man's getting the vape going. I forget what I paid for this. I think it was 140.
140. That's an expensive ounce. That's going to be our wealthiest ounce. Like the ounce price in Central Illinois and in Illinois in general is between 95 and 135. And so like good, better, best. Like one of our stock, like because like we're like Walmart everyday low prices. And so we'll have a $25 menu, we'll have a $10 menu, and we always want to have a $99 ounce. And there it's already there. But then the quality of that ounce might not be the quality of the $140 ounce, because that's probably much higher quality.
Well, again, we're providing to the area, so the area will tell us who, right? You know what I mean? Like the customer base. I mean, we're hey, Pekin, how you doing? Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if everybody wants RSO and vapes, well, that's what we'll be providing, because like we know there's already an embedded culture. We're just trying to give you an opportunity, an option, right? Like that's what it's a store. It's a fucking store. It's not. Once federal legalization happens, cannabis can be the most benign. I wonder what culture will be like that. Like what I mean? Like
same
clubs.
thing that happened in your state. You're your state and medical, and California and medical, or Arizona and medical, and now to a certain extent Illinois medical. And not Illinois still haven't passed, but those are the harbingers of what's going to be happening once the whole country goes medical and then into adult use. So there's going to be this less restrictive, bright looking of the past where you're like, oh, farmers markets.
Dude, we have ounces ranging from $10 to fucking $400 here. Right?
Wow.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I get the mid. This is a mid. I mean, it's good quality, but it's not, the 300. Sometimes the 300, you'll be like, yeah, it's like air. But then other times you're like, who the fuck? How did they just slip through? Somebody's asked about our price ranges, and we just talked about how we're going to be trying to meet the middle market. $100 is expensive for something you want to do. It is expensive. It's not, it's a market that we're working with, right? We don't make the prices up. But hey,
not make the prices up. If you want us to make the prices up, we will have $4.99.99 every 99th day, and then people will be like, "Seems like you're just making this shit up." We'll be like, "You told us to make up the pricing," and that's chicanery. That's comedic bits. That's not business.
Well, how long? We got another 2 months. You think 3 months?
Oh no, like it's done. I mean, if you were there, if we have to plan our open house. And so like our open house has to be done before the regulators come and give us the all clear. And so they need to clean up and install a few more things. What's that?
Safe in?
The safe door is coming. And so like the vault is completely in. And so they have to do the flooring. So like in another 2 weeks, they'll probably be all done. Like, cleaning it up, getting our certificate of occupancy from the city. And then we'll ask, the IDPFR to come out. And I hope that the DCEO announces that we got a loan, because like they punted on us on Tuesday. We had been waiting. We applied for this loan. They announced it in July. The application window opened in August. It closed in late September. We got our application in before September 1st. And then they have just been chewing on it since September 1st. And they were supposed to make an award in January. And January just blows by. No award. And so then they say, we will make the award. Now they have February-March. And I'm like, hey, social equity, justice involved, veteran, minority owned, like in a disproportionately impacted area development. Like, what are you looking for? Ready to open, what the heck are you looking for? Yeah.
We have all our ducks in a row. Please let us open. But hey, our next story though, I'm kind of curious what your take on this one is. I found this in the Federal Register where they're asking for domestic hemp production program notice request for revision of currently approved information collection. So they're trying to get input on how to collect data on hemp, right? But I'm curious. It's funny. Everybody who all these hempsters are bitching about like regulation and being regulated. Like, oh, we self-regulated. In a sense, there's a form of regulation, even if it's laissez-faire, like it is with hemp, where they do have to have a license, right? Where at least there's a beginning. There's a single point that they all have in common.
Okay. Now, like with our licenses, very often, is it like that in your state? Can you be a grower or a processor?
I no, it's a horizontal only here.
And so, like, if you're a grower, you can make hash, or
Yeah.
is it different?
No, that's
Okay,
it. If you're a grower, you can make cash, but you can't own a store.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can own a store here, but then you can only own so many stores. And if you're a grower, you're a hash maker, or you can be. Like it's the same license, producer, processor. There is no such processor license at the federal level. There's only the cultivator license at the federal level for hemp. And that cultivation says test THC strength 30 days before harvest or no more than 30 days before harvest. There's no what happens when you create a hemp derived product, cannabinoid product. That's a brand new term of art that was just made up.
Right.
And so all of these things need to like get filled in. And so this is why we need legislation. Even if you push it to Schedule 3, and then you want to fix what they just the terribleness they just did for the new definition of hemp, we need legislation. The problem is like we have an election right now. We may see a bill that's introduced that handles the legislation uniformly.
Sure.
I haven't seen it yet, but then it was like you don't run on you kind of run on accomplishments, but typically you run on like, how do I fix this? Well, we will change X is like Mondami, Trump. That's how they win. We're going to be transformative, even Obama. And so you can't have it fixed before they win.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, like, this is just one of the many issues that we have, right? Like if you're gonna ride the I don't know, fucking some sort of dilemma, right? This is something that's been almost a century old. Like can't we just get on the same page? My thinking though, I was questioning, do you think so like with this thing though, how they're collecting information from the hempsters to find out, hey, how should we do this processing? Do you think perhaps also they're trying to get their own ducks in a row, but they're like, you know what? Because all they've been doing is sending out these little nasty letters, right? Like, what is, because now maybe they're trying to like get their shit together, understanding who their licensees are so that they can like go after unlicensees, right? Because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of unlicensees participating in this hemp market. But
well, there shouldn't be. They should all have a license. Right? But then the easy license to get is the hemp license. So you drive the gray train through the hemp license because it's easy to get.
Okay.
And they like there's no real track and trace. And so oops, it all fell into the THCA market. And here's the COA. But so it's inversion, diversion. So like our licensed growers growing too much and slipping it out the back as hemp, or our hempsters or hemp licenses growing THCA hemp and then slipping it into the supply as well, saying that it's hemp. That won't happen. And that if you look at Schedule 3 and how to like how onerous that rule could be, they can really clamp down as to like the supply of the medical cannabis. And so that's one of the reasons why like there's several bills and all these bills need to come through in every state that has adult use. You make every dispensary and every grower a hybrid. So it's a medical adult use, because if there's a medical line that is engrafted onto your state licensing rubric, it appears that it's going to be a Schedule 3 or a medical. So you want to have both in compliance so that both have been given enough security against any type of interference.
Well, you said with like rescheduling it, there still has to be other criteria met, right? CSA, CSRA, whatever,
CSA, CRA. There's even like treaties that are involved, but
Mhm.
and then there's the FDCA. So like how drugs work, but drugs, there's so many peptides that people are just like selling on the internet now. They're just
Yeah.
selling drugs on the internet for research purposes and saying they aren't drugs.
Well, I mean, speaking of, like here's our next one is about the CBD regulation coming up, right? Like this is just, oh, I found a component of this plant. Let me just try and make this is kind of been a problem with since the 2018 Farm Bill. Was this CBD and people's obsession with CBD being a fix-all, opposed to like entourage effect and other cannabinoids like extract only versus a plant like consuming combustible.
Right.
So like how is this even going to be a thing? How
This
can
was messed up. Like this, I haven't done a video on this, but it was like the most messed up of all the bills that I've seen. Like there's the Cannabinoid Regulation and Safety Act, by the guys from the West Coast in Oregon, the Wyden and what's the other senator from Oregon, Ron Wyden, and the other guy.
Oh yeah.
And so whatever. But they're like pitching that cannabinoid regulation for hemp, saying like 5 milligrams of THC, 50 milligrams of THC per container or per crate or whatever. That bill is saying like the same thing, but for CBD. And I'm like, wow, like an intoxicating dose of CBD would be 5 milligrams. And you're like, no, he didn't just say that. You're like, damn. I think it was like that guy from Virginia. Is that the one that you were talking, Can of Curious, THC fueled? Is that story 3? Is that story 5?
I just closed it out. But like, I don't get that. Like, why do we even have to focus on
it's story 6? Yeah, so that's the Republican from Virginia, Morgan Griffith, and a Democrat from Texas, Mark Beasley. And of course, like you always have to name a bill an acronym. Kill Bob Act. Yeah, so it's the Hemp Act. So it's Hemp Enforcement Monitorization and Protection, and a CBD framework, intoxicating limits at 5 milligrams of CBD per serving and 30 milligrams per package. And they're not talking about THC. And so like it was like one of those where you look at it and you go, boy, is that a lame bill.
Yeah,
that's just, boy, that's weird.
In the end, this all comes down to THC, right? Like if we can
that's a CBD bill.
No, but I mean,
like you're like, wait a minute. They're just kind of ignoring the THC, but THC is along for the ride.
Well, they ignored it when they did the fucking Farm Bill too, right? With this 0.3%.
Yeah, they just don't know what they're doing. They just don't know what they're doing.
But that's what I'm trying to say is like, why don't they focus on some sort of THC regulation? Why don't we, if all these fucking yahoos want to be weed, there's got to be a way to. This is the only thing that separates hemp. Like, how is it that one cannabinoid is an arresting factor? You know what I mean? Like, how is this even like a?
And why do we call that cannabinoid the entire plant and it's marijuana instead of like what the actual plant is or what the actual drug is? Why do we still name it the boogeyman? Like the Schedule 1 drug is the boogeyman's name, not like you mean cannabis indica? Not cannabis indica. Like actually, most not cannabis indica, just the cannabis indica that has the THC. So you're upset about the THC, pretty much. Then why is it called marijuana over there? Well, we're trying to scare people.
But again, THC wasn't found until like the early 70s, late 60s, right?
60s, 64. Yeah, Mitchell and over in
so
Israel. They had to do it in Israel because we banned it.
Yeah, well, and he actually dosed his friends, which is a great story to watch if you want to watch.
That is the hallmark of science. Dose your friends.
But yeah, it's such a scary plant that even this city is actually opening up a pot shop. We got the first. This is not the first city running cannabis dispensary. Yeah, but this is not the first one. Washington State has had a city-owned one. It was a utility. It was considered as like water utilities,
right?
But like, so like this is the second city running.
Talk about controlling the supply.
I think. Well, think about it. I mean, like you're a bud tender. You work for the fucking state. That's awesome. That's a government
job. You don't have
to
unionize. You are at a union then.
Yeah.
You get time off. And then of course, if the weed don't sell, the taxes sure as fuck will.
Oh, the weed's gonna sell, dude. That's
Yeah,
the one thing
right.
about
The
weed. You
weed will
don't have
sell
to.
if you control the supply. That's it. Otherwise, it's the hemp industry all over again. And I mean, even the hemp industry was more like consolidated than it otherwise would have been if it was really a free market, free for all.
Well, didn't Minnesota take care of that issue with the hemp?
They codified it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what this dispensary's at. The weed's gonna sell itself.
Yeah, because you've controlled the supply, and so
Yeah.
you've said that hemp is not marijuana. But then in Minnesota was interesting, and they said that they could do city, and so like Pennsylvania, very often when they think if they're going to legalize it, and they've been thinking if they're going to legalize it for almost a decade. It's really like adorable. Pennsylvania, will you, won't you? But they have like the city owned or the municipal owned versions of it. Some Canadians do it that way as well. But if you're really controlling the supply, sure. But then like now, could you imagine like the city owns the gambling parlors and the casinos, or the city owns all the liquor stores? Isn't that strange? Now the city is in the excise business. The city is in the sin business. Is the city going to own all the strip clubs?
I mean,
Is the city going to own all the red light district?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like a liquor store would be a comparison, but we have state licensed liquor stores here. Well, not anymore in Washington State, but there are state. I don't know, man. I think it's a good utility. I think it'd be a good aspect. If it helps find the bottom line. I think everything has a bottom line, and that's what I'm just trying to find. Like, how long has California been legal? They've had adult use
30 years. Well, adult use really popped off after you and Colorado, and so they were in the first wave, like in 2018.
Yeah.
And then Illinois was right there in 2019, and then Jesus fucking Christ, that was 6-7 years ago.
So just like you guys, they're coming down with court rulings where cops have to treat marijuana in your car differently after California Supreme Court ruling. So they're saying like loose buds is like having a loose container of alcohol.
Yep. Yeah, our laws are stupid in the sense that they say it has to be in an odor-proof container, but hemp is completely legal.
Yeah,
and so it's the same. And then THCA hemp at that, like our biggest competitors are smoke shops.
Yeah, well,
weird, But then, so it's illegal to have the smell of raw cannabis in Illinois, but if the cop smells burnt cannabis, there's no probable cause to search because marijuana is legal. But the smell of it, like if you smell the raw version, then it's illegal because it's supposed to be in an odor-proof container. But hemp is legal. And so you just hear all that stuff and you go, who's in charge here? Because he has not a fucking clue what the hell he's talking about.
But that's the problem with the rule system, right? They all don't catch up in the same.
Or they're written by people that don't know what they're talking about.
What's it been now? It's been 14 years since Washington State and Colorado have legalized adult use, and we still don't have home grow. It's still it's in committee right now. We're all fingers crossed it doesn't die, but
it helps with demand. I mean, it doesn't. All those states that have home grow have very healthy economies. I think like saying, like, can you imagine if you couldn't grow your own tomatoes?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Your love for tomatoes are going to grow if you actually get some tomatoes from your neighbor. Later on, you go to a restaurant, you might be like, yeah, tomatoes, those are good.
Well, I think a lot of it has to your perception of common sense is because of your relationship with the plant. Like you say, like they're not the pothead you are, right? Like, our next story, a California story, I think it's it gives me mixed emotions because it talks about how California tops 1.2 billion in illegal cannabis seizures, right? But this is since 2022. So, like, to me, it's like it's a good thing because, like, hey, you're helping your legal market, but also, I think you got to pump up those numbers because the industry itself is $1 billion market yearly. You know what I'm saying?
California's market's multi-billion.
Yeah. So, like, that's like a drop. That's a what did you get? Like 100,000 each year or whatever, or 100, a million, whatever the fuck. You didn't dent it. But yet they're bragging about like how they stopped all this. What do we call it? Intrusion? No.
Yeah, we'll call it intrusion. That's a good method.
Shit.
I like that. And I do like that they reported it over the past 3 years. So, about 400 million a year yanked. I mean, Illinois didn't do a very good job this past year of selling. They only sold about 1.4 or 1.5 billion dollars, and 1.3 of it was domestic. And I think a lot of it is because there was probably $1 billion of hemp sold at least in the state of Illinois last year.
100%.
At least.
Yeah, no, 100%. I couldn't believe what when I stopped at that Shell gas station and bought that pre-roll. We haven't had that hemp issue here.
Yeah.
And it just still boggles my mind. Why
we're going to have an open house. And so part of the open house, because we can do the open house, like the regulator said, we can do the open house anytime before the AUDO, like the adult use dispensing organization license is given to you. And after that, then all the restrictions and rules apply. And so when we're ready, and so we'll have the open house the week before or a few days before the regulator is scheduled to come out and verify us.
Okay.
So that we can then show everybody and the things that we'll have in our vault, and then also wherever. We'll just go down to McKenna's. Remember that the saddest gaming salon that was a block down? Yeah. I'll just go buy $100 from his shit, like all the THCA, and I'll just kind of put that out and be like, and because all the entire county board, I'll invite them, and I'll invite all the city councilmen. The entire county board's Republican, and then the city council is probably about 50-50.
Okay.
So and nobody wants weed sold at the gas station, especially considering they know that when we sell it, we go to support first responders' pension liability, firefighters and police. And so we'll be sponsoring, if we do our job right, for my calculations, 2 pensions at handsome pensions, like $150,000 a year. No, like 190,000, about $150,000 for the pension liability would be tax generated from us.
Okay.
Which on an annualized basis, which is nice.
Yeah.
So when you buy our weed, you're literally supporting first responders. Buy that gas station shit. I mean, you don't care about first responders. You just want to get high cheap, right?
Well, again, it's not even good high. You get what you get, whatever. But this one kind of fucked me up, dude. This is still passing. The Alabama House passes bill to report parents who kids smell of marijuana. So I mean, this is like under a smoking inside bill type thing. But I just think it's crazy if your kid
Alabama's conservative as shit.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I'm saying get your fucking kid out of the room if you're hotboxing, but if the kid grows around the plant, there's pheromones and all this other stuff, right? Their clothes could smell like the plant if you have a garden.
And they kind of have a highly controlled medical industry that's millionaires club only, and you're not going to make any money on it. Yeah. So it's one of those where you're like, hey, this is just a prejudice bill. It's just a prejudice bill right there.
Yeah, that's what I thought, man.
That's Alabama.
I can't believe they're actually gunning for cannabis consumers. It's not, it's unfortunate.
It is. And with that, let's play some Name That Strain.
All right. Ooh.
There it is. That is some THCA hemp right there. Backbone of most modern genetics, and also just completely came onto the scene hard about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It is an indica dominant hybrid. What isn't? California breeder Jigga crossed a subtype of OG Kush with an intermediate strain called F1 Durban. And it's popular for euphoric effects and relaxation. It actually resulted in a lawsuit and a small change of its name. This, of course, is brought to you by Relief Botanicals. This is one of the ones that they are carrying right now at Illinois Dispos.
Hell yeah, dude! I can't wait to sell their weed. I can't wait to smoke it.
But it ain't crack. We're getting into the season. The season being where
you're so
this
close.
particular person goes and sells cookies.
There you go.
Right.
Little marketing geniuses.
Right. So much so that they got a cease and desist similar to Gorilla Glue, and they had to go back to naming it an acronym.
Oh, there we go. Who doesn't know Girl Scout cookies?
There it is.
There you
Who
go.
doesn't know Girl Scout cookies?
Right
Everybody,
on,
like,
Brandon.
it's so famous. So many genetics.
There you go.
Really took that world by storm. But that is it. It is Girl Scout cookies for this week. Got a sample of that, and
Nice.
had it today in the DZ vaporizer. It had some real good purple and wonderful flavors, all those things. Is that it? Is that our show for the week?
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was?
I got a couple of state stuff. I got Florida. They're losing
What's
their
going on
appeal.
in Florida?
Florida appeals court sides with state in challenge over marijuana petitions. That's
All right.
sad. Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Hey, if Florida really doesn't want to legalize it, because first off, they're doing it in a very monopolistic way. I support more how Illinois, Missouri, Washington State have legalized it, not how Florida is, where they're shutting the door behind them. And so, like, there's this happy medium of regulation, no regulation. And I think that Washington State, Missouri, Illinois is a little bit too over the top, has just like nailed it, where they have more control of the supply and what's going on, but openness to a diverse array of businesses throughout the state. With Florida, too much MMTC style major. So it really just only benefits those that have the capital, those that are publicly traded, like a True Leaf, for example. Somebody who really conglomerates, as opposed to spreads the industry throughout the state in instances so that you can have dozens and dozens, scores of them, in fact, small business owners that have a legitimate business operation in their state. And that's the cash flow, because you're not allowed to get too many ownerships because of the license limitations that have been split up. And so, like Illinois, I think, and same with your state of Washington, there's a vibrant industry there. You know?
You got a hot take for Texas?
Texas is screwed. Well, Texas is not screwed. And so you vote for the right people for the Texas legislature this year. In 2 years, I think you're going to have a much more open medical cannabis program that resembles the hemp program, that resembles the Mississippi medical cannabis program. And so you can have an industry of thousands of Texas businesses. It'll be more regulated than it was, but less regulated than it is here in Illinois, and less compliance cost and more licenses.
Nice. Did you hear about Lamar Odom? Turned himself into rehab. You don't know who Lamar? I thought you were more of a sports guy than I was. Basketball player. I think he was like with one of the Kardashians, but that's it. I mean, again, no one that's really of relevance, but he checked himself into rehab for marijuana addiction after DUI.
Well, good for him. And did he respond? Did he have any scrummating? Was there any scrummating in this article, or any CHS, or was he just, I'm fine? Other people have noticed that I am a little bit blunted throughout these.
Could be also, I got in trouble, so we'll go rehab and pretend like, oh, okay, that's my problem. Not that I'm a fuck up.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's how Sam makes their money, from what I understand. I could be wrong on that. If you know how Sam makes its money, drop it in the comments. All right, man. Anything else for the good of the order before we take it?
No, that's good. You guys have a great fucking week. Next week, Super Bowl.
Oh, Super Bowl. I am going to be rooting for the Seattle team. I'm going to get some of that. The only Seattle beer that we can get here in the middle of Illinois. I mean, send me some Rainier if you can, because I prefer lagers. But they do have Space Dust. Space Dust is out of Seattle. Unfortunately, it's like a super strong IPA, but
it is. Yeah. You guys have a good week. That was nice.
See you next week. Here's the final thought. Every week it feels like cannabis legalization is stuck. No sweeping federal bill, no grand announcement, no victory lap. But when we look closer, courts are normalizing cannabis in constitutional law, cities normalizing it in public commerce, researchers want to try to normalize it in public health if they stop getting blocked, and regulators, whether they're on board or not, they're forced to treat cannabis like a real industry instead of a moral panic. Progress doesn't always look like a movement. Sometimes it looks like repetition, week after week, until the abnormal becomes normal. If you want to stay ahead of that curve, scan our QR code and sign up for our newsletters. You'll get all the stories, new videos, and real actionable alerts across cannabis, hemp, and legalization without the hype. And before you go, help us out. Subscribe. We just crossed 89,000 subscribers. Let's get to 100,000 together, because staying informed isn't passive. It's how legalization actually happens.
The federal shift towards Schedule 3 doesn't rewrite your license strategy. Having the right dispensary footprint and operational playbook in place before regulators fully implement that new policy. That's where Collateral Base comes in. We help cannabis businesses win dispensary licenses, structure compliant operations, and manage stores. Link below. We help clients navigate licensing, compliance, and operations so they win in the new regulatory era.